Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how to become a better speaker in public. I remember the first couple times I spoke in public, and it was awful. It was terrifying. It was scary. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just overwhelming. It was a lot, and I'm sure you're facing those feelings too. I want to empower you to be a great public speaker. I want to empower you to take those next steps in your journey. And here are some of the tips that have helped me along my way. By the end of this video, you'll learn the importance of slowing down, why practice makes perfect, and why you should just get over yourself. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. When I think about speaking in public, one of the stories that resonates from my own journey was when I was in college. I was actually interning at this TV show in Washington, D.C. called the George Michael Sports Machine. It was kind of Sports Center before Sports Center became really big in the 80s and the 90s. And it was hosted by this guy named George Michael, not the singer from Wham, but this other guy who was just like larger than life sportscaster and broadcaster. And I did anchoring practice with him. He was just very imposing, and I decided to sign up to do anchoring practice. So after the 11 o'clock newscast, I sat at the desk near George, and he recorded this like Sports in a Minute. It was a roundup of different sporting events, and it would air at the early morning shows. So that was the anchoring practice. So he went, and then it was my turn to go. And I started reading from the teleprompter. And midway through, I got nervous and I froze. I just froze. I was like just so nervous, so overwhelmingly nervous. And he got mad at me and he said, "You can never stop. Whatever you do, don't stop." And it was such a good lesson, and it was such an important milestone for me just to kind of, when you're thinking about public speaking, it can be so scary. Early on in my journey, I was just locked up. It was really nerve-wracking to go speak in front of people. And I don't know what forced that change. I think part of it was sitting on Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting and just being on video all day and having to talk to people. Or during my journalism career, we'd have news gathering meetings and we would go department by department and talk about the stories that we're working on in a certain day. And you kind of had to just go with your best stuff. What are my 3 best stories? And it was a good lesson for me in terms of public speaking. What are my 2 or 3 best things I want to tell the audience? And what can I do to connect with them? And that's it. You focus on the things that you have to say, the messages that you want to get across. You get over yourself over time. Again, it took me 15 years to be able to get to that point. And you just go with it. One of the most important things to being a better public speaker is to know your stuff. When you go and listen to somebody who's really good at public speaking, they know exactly what they're going to say. And I'm not saying that they're scripting out their entire speech. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe it's on a teleprompter, maybe it's not. It's not so much about knowing every single word. It's about the feeling. It's the emotion of where they're going next. They don't have any issues with what they're going to say because in the back of their mind, they already know. These are the bullet points. These are the things that we're talking about. These are the things that resonate. But you got to know your stuff. You got to be the expert. And even if it's something that is a blind spot or something that you're missing or something that you're not quite confident in yet, you got to own it. You just got to go with it. One of the things that I really needed to work on when I was public speaking early on is to slow down. People want to hang on your words and they want to digest them. They don't want to have this barrage of information thrown at them. This isn't about, the speed reading like Micro Machines guy from the commercials who's going as fast as he can when he's reading something. This is about presenting information in a digestible way, in a powerful way. Pauses can be so meaningful when you're giving a speech. When you are pausing for effect, when you are letting something sit, when you are dropping a knowledge bomb and just letting it sit there for a moment, it sends a message to the audience that you're in control, that you're leisurely going through this, that you're comfortable, that you own this message. When you're speeding through it, it's like, oh, are they really confident? Do they really believe it? Or are they just reading? Another thing you'll probably encounter early on as a public speaker is dry mouth. When you get nervous, your mouth can get dry. Get a cough drop. I have a cough drop in my mouth right now. It's okay. It's okay to use those things. Maybe a piece of gum, maybe some water. You need something. You need those props to help you. These are good things. These are things to help you become a better public speaker. But then it's about understanding the room. Picking a couple spots throughout the room that you're looking at, that you're kind of making sure to angle towards from time to time. You don't want to be just here, straightforward, looking at one specific spot. You want to connect to the greater audience, and you want to look around. You want to give moments. And it's not specifically looking at individual people all the time. I kind of just look at general areas of the room. But I want everybody to feel seen, I want them to know that even if I'm not specifically looking at them, that I'm seeing this general area that they're sitting in. All of these things come through in practice. You have to work at it. You get better as a public speaker over time. It takes time. It takes work. It takes effort. You need to keep working at it. And that means booking, local places, small places, going to speak wherever, getting your reps in the smallest places possible. My friend Emma, she's building her public speaker platform, and she's based in Salt Lake City, Utah, and she's starting to give speeches at events in that area, and it's awesome. I think it's so empowering and amazing. We'll have calls from time to time, and she'll tell me about different speeches she's giving, and it's great because it's low stress. She's talking to a room full of 6 or 10 people, and they're connecting with her and getting her message, and she's feeling more and more confident every time she's giving a talk. So the rooms are going to get bigger over time, and she's going to be ready for them because she got her reps in, because she worked on those rooms when there were only 6 or 10 people. You think about like a music group, that music group that finally broke big, after hustling on the road for years, and they always have these stories. My favorite band is Lit. They were a SoCal group from the 90s and early 2000s. They had the song My Own Worst Enemy. And one of the things they talked about is how they had this one concert where one person showed up. And that kind of tells them something, that I have a message that matters. I'm going to keep going no matter what. I believe in this. It's really not just about this is a small group. It's like getting your reps. So when you're playing Woodstock, you're playing this big show, you were playing the small shows. You're ready for it. You were ready for it because you put in the time and the effort. And one thing that you can really do to think about developing your skills is to record yourself. Record yourself talking. Record yourself speaking to a group. If you give a speech to a group, record it and go back and look at it. It's weird sometimes to listen to ourselves or go back and watch ourselves. I think back to my YouTube videos early on, and I've been recording them for a couple years now. And early on, I was kind of religiously watching them. And then I stopped and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take an Adam Driver approach. He doesn't watch any of his movies. He doesn't watch himself on his movies at all, which is kind of weird to me, but I get it now. When you're speaking in front of people or giving presentations a lot, there's a point in time where you're like, okay, I believe in myself. I have confidence. But up to that point, record yourself. See how your message translates to camera. See how your message translates to an audience. See how your message translates to putting it out there in a public speaking sort of way. And you can really focus on what works, what doesn't work, what gestures. Sometimes you do hand gestures that don't quite work, and you're like, oh, we're not going to do that anymore. So you're mindful about it. You have to be mindful about these things. And the more that you can practice it and the more that you can be mindful, the better the outcomes. If you're interested in learning more about how to become a better speaker in public, there's another video I recorded that I'd love for you to check out. It's called How to Become a Public Speaker. In that video, I talk about building your platform, the elements that you should have in place, networking, the importance of it, and the most important tool that you can put together to build your credibility as a public speaker. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.